and share on the Facebook. Okay, friends, we are going live. Okay, Ajita.
Yes. Can we
We
start?
we are already live, and yes, we can start. And when you start, I will stop the sharing.
Sure. Very good morning to everybody. It's such a pleasure to have everybody on board, and I can see about 66 people online, and it is Facebook live as well. I'm sure a lot of people would be watching there too. And I welcome Ms. Harita and Dr. Unmana Borg again, who are the panelists for talking about patient safety today. And we also have Ms. Haravati here, whom we are going to felicitate. And I'm just looking for, yes, Dr. Anu Kaushik, uh, Director of Nursing at Cloud9 Hospitals also is here. Haravati works there in Cloud9 Hospital in Mumbai. And to start with the session, let's start with this felicitation program. And Haravati is a young achiever among us. And I would request Dr. Anu Kaushik to come to start her video. Your off video, I guess. Anu, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, Anu.
I have just seen her here.
Yes, I saw her coming inside.
Yeah, I did see.
Hi, Anu, are you there?
Just need to call her. Just give her a call. Because we have 15 minutes for this function, right?
Now I'm not able to see her. She came in, but now I'm not able to see her. I'm searching for her. She just came in, Ajita. Hi, Anu, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm there. I'm so sorry. I lost.
Connectivity issues are there. Even I.
Okay, Anu is there. Ajita, please start. Ajita? I think Ajita has dropped off. Dr. Anu, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm there.
Okay, I am just going to step into Ajita's shoes for 2 minutes before we get into our Empower Hour, because We don't want to make everybody else wait. So good morning, everyone. And let me invite Dr. Anu Kaushik to introduce Miss Haravati and to explain to us what has led to this particular recognition that we are going to give, that we are so happy about her. Please go ahead, Dr. Anu, if you can tell a few words about Haravati, and then we will ask Haravati to come on the video and say a few words. Yeah. Go ahead,
Sure.
Dr. Anu. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Stay on the
For
video, please. Can you stay on the video because we are recording?
my video is on actually.
Maybe your bandwidth, I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us this wonderful platform to showcase the wonderful work that has been done by such a young nurse, Haravati. And we are very thankful to Annie for let us be part of this inaugural function. I just like to start by quoting one of my favorite quotes, which is being by Brad Brown, which says that there are no extraordinary people, only ordinary people who do extraordinary things with what they have been given. And I think that holds exactly true for Haravati. And we at Cloud9 are very proud to have such an extraordinary person amongst us. Haravati, who made us proud and turned this world into a better place with her priceless act of saving an innocent life. I think when we are in the hospital, there are certain set of responsibility that we are supposed to do, and we do it by virtue of our job requirement. But what Sister Haravati did was something I would say very, very extraordinary, because she actually came out from her comfort zone. I would say she was actually traveling, she was going to the hostel, and she saw somebody really needing help. And surprisingly, the situation was such that there was a mother who had delivered the baby on the road, and she was being surrounded by a lot of people, but unfortunately nobody stepped in forward to help them out. And this 21-year-old girl, she just mustered the courage. She did not know whether she's going to be successful, but she just thought, let me give it a try, and let's see if I can do something. And when I was interacting with Haravati, she herself was, didn't know what will be the outcome, but just she said, okay, let me just get into it. So I strongly believe that it's not just skill and knowledge, but a heart of gold that really sums up Haravati. And I think she is a very strong-willed and a very compassionate girl. And we are really, very, very lucky to have in a team. And, she just joined us 3 months back. And she comes from a place which is very, I would say, which is still developing, and she was trying to adjust to a new city. She hails from Ranchi, and she joined our Mumbai hospital, and so she was in that adaptation phase. She was still settling down, and to in a new city, to get that kind of a courage, I think it's really commendable. Haravati, we are really very proud of you. And I would now request Haravati. I also have my nurse manager for Vashi unit, Miss Vinci, who's also present. And I would like to ask now Haravati to share her experience. And Haravati is comfortable in speaking Hindi, so I would like her to share her experience in a language that's comfortable to her. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Haravati, आप बोलिए. आपकी मैडम ने कहा कि आप अभी बताएंगे कि आपका कैसा रहा.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to all of you. मेरा नाम हरावती कुमारी है. मैं झारखंड से हूँ, झारखंड रांची से हूँ. मैं +2 और एनएम की कोर्स कंप्लीट करके अभी 3 मंथ्स पहले Cloud9 में एक फ्रेशर स्टाफ नर्स हूँ. और
कोई बात नहीं, आप अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताइए. जब आपको ये इंसिडेंट आपने जब ये एक्सपीरियंस किया वो आप बताइए.
मैं 30 जनवरी को जब मैं नाइट ड्यूटी कंप्लीट करने के बाद जब हॉस्टल जा रही थी, तो मैं और ड्राइवर एम्बुलेंस में दोनों थे. जाने के क्रम में मतलब बीच रोड में रास्ते पे जब हम एम्बुलेंस से क्रॉस कर रहे थे तो बीच रास्ते पे उधर लोगों की भीड़ जमी हुई थी, तो मैंने सोचा एक्सीडेंट हुआ होगा। देन हमारी एम्बुलेंस क्रॉस हो रही थी, लोगों ने हमारे एम्बुलेंस को रोकने की कोशिश की। देन मैंने खिड़की से बाहर देखा तो लोगों की भीड़ थी, मैंने रोकने के लिए बोला ड्राइवर को, ड्राइवर एम्बुलेंस रोके, मैं नीचे उतरी और जब मैं सामने जाके देखा तो मदर एंड बेबी दोनों रोड पे पड़े थे और बेबी पेटीकोट में ऐसे रैप किया हुआ था और मदर पड़ी हुई थी। तो मैंने लोगों को बोला कि तुरंत मदर को एम्बुलेंस में रखो, क्योंकि मदर रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रही थी और बेबी भी ठंड पड़ गई थी, बेबी भी रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रही थी। तो मैंने सबसे फर्स्ट मदर को लोगों के हेल्प के द्वारा उधर एम्बुलेंस में रखाया। देन मैंने बेबी को खुद लेके एम्बुलेंस में गई। देन मैंने ड्राइवर को बोला ड्राइवर तुरंत हमें हॉस्पिटल छोड़ना चाहिए इनको, तो मैंने तुरंत हॉस्पिटल छोड़ने के लिए बोला। देन उसी समय मैंने बेबी को सबसे फर्स्ट, बेबी रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रहा था तो मैंने उनको बेबी को सबसे पहले क्लीन किया, सेक्रेशन थे माउथ पे, तो उनको लेटरल पोजीशन दिया बेबी को। देन मैं बेबी को बैक रब किया, स्टिमुलेट किया, तो उन बेबी ने रिस्पॉन्स किया और क्राई भी किया। देन मदर भी थी मेरे साथ, दोनों को मुझे ही देखना था, इसके लिए स्टार्टिंग में मैंने बेबी को स्टेबल किया। देन मैंने मदर को देखा तो मदर भी रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर रही थी, ऐसे शांत पड़ी थी। मैंने उनके हस्बैंड को बोला कि उनको जगाओ करके। देन मैंने हाथ दे के उनको जगाया तो उन्होंने थोड़ा बहुत रिस्पॉन्स किया। उसके बाद थोड़ी देर बाद हमारी हॉस्पिटल भी पहुंच गई। देन हॉस्पिटल पहुंच के बेबी का कॉर्ड वगैरह सेपरेट किया। देन मैंने हॉस्पिटल के लोगों को हैंड ओवर कर दिया, बेबी एंड मदर दोनों को।
बहुत बहुत ब्रेव काम किया खराबदी आपने। ये नर्सिंग में टाइमली रिस्पॉन्स, जो वो वक्त में क्या हम कर रहे, दैट डिपेंड्स वेदर द पर्सन विल बी अलाइव और नॉट, राइट। सो आपने जो किया है वो बेबी का और मदर का जान बचाया, एंड आई मीन यू कांट बी ग्रेटर देन दिस। सो जो निक ऑफ द टाइम वो उस टाइम में करना है, वो 5 मिनट बाद करके कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, राइट। सो आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, बहुत ब्रेव। वो आपने किसी का बताने पे नहीं किया, अपने आप आपको ये रिस्पॉन्स आया, राइट।
Yes,
तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि इंडिया का हर यंग नर्स आपकी तरह हो, जो सिचुएशंस देखे उसके अनुसार रेस्पॉन्ड करे, ताकि लॉट ऑफ पीपल विल बी रिवाइव्ड। Okay, so our population deserves nurses like you, and kudos to you. May I request our ANEI President, Mrs. Tangam Gomez, to felicitate her now, Madam Tangam.
Yeah, I am so proud of you, Haravati, कि आप जब अपने बारे में बता रहे थे तो आपके मुंह से शब्द निकल नहीं रहे थे, लेकिन जब आपने अपना जो एक्सपीरियंस बताना शुरू किया, वर्ड्स आराम से आ रहे थे। वो एक प्रूफ है कि आप दिल से काम किया है, फटाफट काम किया, एंड आप बहुत प्राउड हो कि आप वो कर पाए। नजना मैम ने सही बताया कि एन वक्त पे सोच के एकदम डिसीजन और एक्शन लेना सबकी बात नहीं होती है। So we are really proud of you, and ANI, Association of Nurse Executives India, want to celebrate every little achievement our nurses will have, and I request all the senior members here to never shy away from sharing something that our young nurses are doing, and we will create the platform for them to be felicitated. And this particular function is now getting recorded. It will be there on the ANI YouTube forever, and it is also getting streamed live on Facebook. So many people are going to see, maybe not even nurses. So at least we are trying to celebrate what is nursing all about, and that's what ANI is standing for, is for the empowerment of nurses. So this is how we can support nursing in India. So with that, congratulations Haravati, हम आपको ANI का full time lifetime associate membership we are giving free. Okay, and वो हमारे Annie family में आपका स्वागत है. Okay, thank you very much for being such a person. Just give me a minute. I'm going to share your certificate and the card virtual, and I'll be sending it to Anu ma'am, and she will give it to you. Then you can print it out. Just give me a minute. So that's your membership ID, हरावती. ये आपका membership है, ठीक है? और ये आपका सर्टिफिकेट भी खुला था, वही मैं देख रही हूँ कहाँ गया. ये आपका membership और ये आपका सर्टिफिकेट है एनी की तरफ से. यस, ये आपका अभी अभी आप ज्वाइन किया है. यू आर सो लकी कि आपको इतना बड़ा रिकग्निशन मिल रहा है. तो खुदा आपके साथ रहें कि जो जज्बा अभी आपने दिखाया वो ऐसे बरकरार रहे आपकी जिंदगी में, और बाकी लोगों के लिए आप एक मिसाल बन के रह जाए. यस, बाकी लोगों को देख के रखना चाहिए कि हाँ, नहीं तो रोड पे भीड़ बड़ा है और आप एम्बुलेंस में अकेले हो, कोई भी डर सकता है. वो बोलेंगे क्या करना है, अब मैं वहां घुस जाऊं, कुछ भी हो सकता है. बट जितना करेज आपने दिखाया, we are all very proud of you, and thank you so much for being the icon, the beacon of nursing. कि आप दिखा रहे हैं कि नर्स अगर चाहे तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. And thank you so much. And it's also showing कि आप कह रहे हो कि आप झारखंड से है, रांची से. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप कोई बड़ी सिटी से होना चाहिए कि आपको कोई बड़ा काम करने के लिए. अनु मैम ने सही बताया, दिल बड़ा होना चाहिए और दिल में क्या बोलते हैं, हिम्मत होनी चाहिए. ये दोनों अगर है तो फिर कोई भी कर सकते हैं. और हमारी जो ट्रेनिंग हो चुकी है उसका फायदा तभी तो होगा जब हम ऐसे कुछ चीज लेंगे. राइट? या
Yes, ma'am.
फैंटास्टिक. एंड thank you very much, Anu, for facilitating that she is here today and you are also present. And Anu madam is also Annie's executive committee member. Yes. So request all the Annie members also keep this in mind whenever there is a chance to celebrate our young nurses, middle level nurses, any nurses, doesn't matter. Let us know and we will celebrate together. Okay. Thanks a lot, Dr. Anu Kaushik. Thank you very much, and God bless you, Haravati, and wish you all the best. And Vinci, as a nurse manager, you can be very proud of her.
Yes.
And all the very best to all of you also, and the
Thank
team.
you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Now over to
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Over to Ajita for starting the Empower Hour. We are exactly at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
So
that
much
is
on
great.
time.
Thank you, Tankam. So we are starting the Empower Hour. Empower Hour is a showcasing program of ANEI where we will have once in a month 1 hour discussion with the experts in the relevant field. And for the year, we have chosen patient safety as our theme. The idea is to take the message of patient safety to every individual. Every need not be nurse alone. Patient safety is a common subject, and we have had talks in the past, and we will continue to talk about this. So for today's session, we have two eminent personalities in nursing to speak to us about. So it is going to be a panel discussion. And the topic is so apt for when we talk about patient safety. It is educating student nurses about patient safety is the topic for the day. And we have often wondered why this all education happens after the staff joins the hospital. And I'm sure each staff nurse before becoming a staff nurse while they were student nurses have toiled it out. It's not an easy study at all. The sleepless nights we have had with all that anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and pathophysiology and whatnot. And 4 years we have studied so hard. And when you come to the hospital and join a hospital and subjected to a live patient field, you feel you just know nothing and you feel so hopeless. And that is known as reality shock syndrome, where a nurse who so enthusiastically come to the hospital and feel that she is inadequately prepared for patient care all by herself. And most of it is because of the issues with our curriculum, where what is required in a hospital is not what is taught in the curriculum. To tell the truth, we have realized it, and we are working in the line of introducing the live situations what a nurse would face, and to prepare her better, her or him better, to face the patient care. And so hence this topic of educating the student nurses in patient safety. So I don't know how much of patient education, patient safety education we have in our curriculum. I'm sure as part of the curriculum, it is just, if anyone has thought of it, great, but otherwise INC curriculum doesn't mention about it. Not only for nurses, okay, not only for nursing curriculum, even for medical curriculum, it is the same thing. And they are going to introduce patient safety as a subject. I don't know whether it will be a full-fledged subject or part of some other subject going to be, but catch them young is most effective criteria for hitting hard in our brain. So if it is there in the background in our mind only, that we will respond immediately to situations which will be the decision-making moment, whether a patient will be alive or not in front of us. So catching them young and teaching them about patient safety is so very important for us. But we have, yes, what are the hurdles of it? What are the challenges in this field is what we are going to exactly talk today. And let me introduce the speakers for the day. First of all, we have Dr. Unmona Borgohain Saikia. You can see her on the screen. She is Principal of Asian Institute of Nursing Education in Guwahati and Dean Faculty of Nursing of Health University in Assam. And she has worked as a quality control officer for 4 years. She is a graduate from SNDT University, if I'm not mistaken, right, ma'am? And she has done her PhD, MSc, and I don't know what is your specialty. What is your specialty, ma'am, in MSc?
Cardiac nursing.
Cardiac nursing. Okay, great. So, and she has done over and above this PGDHHM, postgraduate diploma in hospital management, and CPQIH, and she is also an NABH assessor. So, a very eminent person from the northeast and a very well-known person in nursing. And we have our second speaker, Ms. Harita Vijayan. She is currently the Chief Nursing Officer at Continental Hospitals. I have met Harita in the year 2011, if I'm not mistaken. And she was heading nursing of a hospital in Hyderabad at that time, a different hospital, where I went there as NABH assessor. And since then, we are in close touch with each other for various things. And so happy to have both of you here. And Harita holds a master's in cardiovascular and thoracic nursing and master of hospital administration as well. And she is certified using simulator and instructor in Acute Medicine Foundation for Education and Research, Norway. And she has 18 years of experience, though she looks very young. And she served as a scientific member of IEC for 5 years. And she is a passionate nurse, highly motivated in clinical nursing and clinical nursing leadership and medical simulation. So these are two eminent speakers who are going to talk us about educating students in patient safety. So before we start off, I have 1 more minute with me to talk a little bit about patient safety. So patient safety is all about preventing or minimizing preventable errors in healthcare. Many of those bad results what we have from healthcare comes from preventable errors. Okay. So preventable errors, what we mean is maybe a medication error, you meant to give it to someone, but someone else you gave, or an IM medication, IM only medication you have given IV and things like that. So the first, say, medication error or an adverse event which I have come across in my life, in half a minute, I will just tell you. That was about a dressing. I'm sure this incident nobody has heard. It was a dressing as a first year student. We were taught dressing, and I am trained from Armed Forces background, and we have had a lot of patients from IPK. If you may remember, Indian Peacekeeping Force who had gone to Sri Lanka This was, the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's time, and we have had a lot of battle casualties in that Pune command.
Ajita, maybe you can switch off the video, maybe then we can hear you better. Hello? Ajita? Hello? Just give 2 minutes. Let me just check. Otherwise, Dr. Unmana and Dr. Harita has to run their own questions and answers. Because I don't have the backup questions. So just give me a minute. I'll just give her a call. Sorry about that. This is the one downside of, virtual events. Give her a call. Back. Are you back? Hello, Ajita?
Hello, ma'am. I'm so sorry. Just got disconnected for some reason. Am I
Problem.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible. In case you feel it is dragging, you can switch off the video, then the audio will get better.
Some
Yeah?
issue. Anyways, now I think I am okay with it. What happened in this time is that we had a very pretty nurse in our class, and someone who was a little jealous of her. I do not know whether it was somebody from our group or someone else. I'm talking about 1988 incident. We have never heard of patient safety anyway. And someone had, while doing the dressing, someone had, instead of, we used to use Savalon for dressing, and this was a amputated stump wound dressing. And someone, you will not believe, had mixed carbolic acid in that. And the moment she poured the amputated stump, this Savalon solution from the container, which was labeled, of course, and there was, fumes coming out of the wound. And we all, to our horror, later realized that it was carbolic acid. I mean, imagine what sort of incidents we can have in hospitals. I've never heard of this kind of an incident again. But I'm just reminded of what have I seen, patient safety related event. And the patient had a, burns, and we had to remodel the amputated stump and things like that. So, unpredictably things can go wrong. We never know what can go wrong in our everyday clinical life. And educating student nurses. So we have just talked to our teachers, and everybody asked about it. But well, we were in a protected environment, so nothing, punitive action was taken against them.
Excuse me, Ajita, excuse me. I'm going to mute everyone because there's some disturbance coming. You can unmute yourself.
188.
Go ahead, Ajita, you unmute yourself. Unmute. Unmute yourself. Ajita, you're muted. Ajita, you're muted.
Okay. Right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So things can go wrong, any which way, and we better be prepared right from the student time itself. So, I'm sure each of us has a lot of stories to tell about, and preventing this or introducing the topic of patient safety, how can we safeguard our patients, is the best time is catching them young. So, may I request Dr. Unmana to, tell her starting remarks. Over to Dr. Unmana, please. Hello.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear. Ma'am, you have about 6 to 7 minutes for this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Ajita, for giving me this opportunity and selecting me to be the one of the panelists. Before that, I must thank Madam Thangam Gomez, who has chosen me to be the EC member and the founder member of Association of Nurse Executive of India. So I really been very inspired to see the activities of Madam Gomez, the way she is leading from the front and helping from the ground to lift everyone up. Thank you very much, ma'am, and salute to you. Thank you so much for doing so much for nursing profession. Yes, ma'am. Words are not enough to express the work you are doing, and I cannot imagine how you are managing to. And the topic that chosen today, it is very, very vital and very, very important, educating the nurses for patient safety. So as we know that today's students tomorrow will be the responsible nurse. They'll be there, the people life in the hands of those young nurses who will be joining in their job. And the society will be expecting from them a lot of things. Just while Madam Ajita was talking, things came to my mind too. While taking up the nursing course, first year we are busy just to knowing the patient, giving a comfortable bed, and then we are busy to understand the diseases. Second year, then third year, the specialty, fourth year management and gynae, etc., etc. But when we go to the hospital, that we face a lot of issues. The things now coming so predominantly about the patient safety. Oh my God, that means I need to be security to the patient too. Yes, we also have to know details of the disease, managing the disease, and we have to take the challenge to ensure the safety. The safety we think about in a bank that we need to have keep our money in safe. What about the patient safety? Oh my God. But now we all understand very well when the patient come to the hospital with one problem, if we do not take care of, we may give them another problem. If we cannot keep them in the safe way, they may get injury in the hospital itself. So many of the patients, they can't help themselves. They cannot, even a single movement may lead to the danger, and particularly the medications. If the 0.5 and 5 and 0.0 and 0.5 will make a dramatic impact on the patient. So this is so vital and so important. And today I know there will be many young nurses are hearing this session. And I just want to quote few things that what World Health Organization found it about the patient safety, so that we can understand the impact that why we have to know about the patient safety. So the points I'll just read for you. The adverse events due to unsafe care is likely on the top of 10 leading causes of death and disability worldwide, resulting in more than 2.5 million deaths each year. 1 in every 10 patients in the hospital is harmed in some way. About half of those incidents are preventable. Just think, we could have prevented that. The leading cause of patient harm in hospital in medication error, with an estimate of the $4 to 42 billion. That is the US record. About 15% of health spending is wasted on dealing with adverse event. As we all know, the amount being invested for the healthcare, it is not enough. Then how we can think of wasting 50% of them? We should not waste even 1%. So, but it is going on adverse events, all these things. Studies have shown that investment in increasing the patient safety can lead to substantial cost saving. Many times we think that quality means cost. We don't want to have this standardized, or the improved device or this and that thing because it costs. We cannot afford the dryer, it costs. So, but we forget that the cost in treating the patient. Many times we might be thinking the cost patient is bearing. Okay, even for the hospital, when the one patient come to the hospital, the earning used to lose if they have to spend money in the complications. A new patient come to the hospital, in 24 hours complete earning, like 75% earning take place, 24 to 75 4 hours. How? Because of investigation, because of surgery, and all these things, and remaining only the maintenance cost. So major earning take place within the 3 days. So then if we keep the patient for long time, it is the wastage of the resources, and there is no earning too. That also we need to understand. However, in any context, we cannot think of giving more pain to the patient, keeping them longer in the hospital. That is a challenge. We have to be able to discharge the patient as soon as possible. And then it has been found that about 10% of the admitted hospital patients are affected by an infection. Experts estimated that low-cost infection control measures can cut the infection rate by 55%. It is not a joke. 55% we can reduce. Globally, more than 1 million patients die each year for post-surgical complications. Diagnostic errors contribute to the 10% of the deaths in even the United States, so in the developed country. And in our developing country, many times, unfortunately, we do not have the data, sufficient data. And another thing is that even some procedure itself is hazardous for the patient. And so we have to minimize as much as possible. That increased X-ray exposure remains a patient safety concern. Over 3.5 billion X-rays performed globally each year, and millions of patients are harmed each year due to inaccurate or delayed medical diagnosis, and about half of the situation result in the severe harm. So even you might be thinking about what is the role of a nurse in the X-ray. Many times we are not preparing the patient well, and also it will cost a lot. So each and everything that what we do for the patient, we have to be very, very much concerned. And I think in this data, we have to always visualize in our mind that how we can save the life. That if we can save 1 or 2 lives, that is so good, but we can prevent many deaths and disabilities if we are aware about patient safety. And I am very happy the topic selected for the current scenario is so apt, because now all of us are scared. Students are scared, but we must know impact and importance to how to take the precaution, how to prevent this avoidable situations. Okay, there are lot many avoidable. There are of course some unavoidable situations are there, but if we are upskilling ourselves, being the more informative and knowledgeable, we can really do something. So I really appreciate the topic, Susan, for this discussion today. Thank you, Ajita. This is the comment I want to say in the very beginning. That is the so important and vital topic that you have chosen and selected for discussion. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Ajita. You're muted.
Thank you, Madam Unmona. You have correctly said that yes, maybe whatever we are talking about patient safety is scaring our nursing students, and they are in a sort of, they are hearing from various sources, but not the complete information. And it is scary, of course, to go to the clinical area. And we as seniors can do a lot of things in teaching the students about patient safety. Now, I would like to request Harita to talk about her perspective about patient care in a hospital scenario, because she had been for not many years working in hospital and heading nursing departments. So over to you, Harita, for your opening remarks, and you will have about 6 to 7 minutes. Okay. Harita.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon to all of you. And first of all, let me thank Madam Ajita for choosing me for today's session. I also extend my sincere gratitude to Ma'am Tangam Gomez, because she is the one who chosen me as a lead for at least the Telangana chapter. Ma'am, I extend my gratitude, and I also wish to tell you that the trust which you have kept in me is enormous, and I think I will fulfill those dreams. I also extend my sincere thanks and congratulations to all the participants, those who are here today. I could see there are around 135 nurses already joined, and there are more yet to join, I'm sure about it. So coming to the topic, my co-speaker has extensively spoken about patient safety, and I think I have very less to talk because she could cover everything. But let me tell a few very vital, important points here. One is that we at hospital, I strongly feel we are at the receiving end. So when I say so, we are the one who receive our patients. We are the one who receive all kind of nurses, especially the new nurses, those who come to the setup. So now here begins with the service excellence. When we talk about service excellence, I think the important point which we are talking is all about patient safety. How are we making our patients to be safe, and are we really not doing any harm knowingly or unknowingly? Here comes with all set of standards. I think in coming sessions, probably I will be talking little more details about, what do we do in case such mistakes or error which happens. So I would like to talk about one important patient safety parameter, probably which is considered to be the most important as well. That is nothing but the hand hygiene. So when we look at the hand hygiene, there are a lot of campaign which happen, a lot of training program which happen in every institution. But various studies very clearly says that after such a wonderful training session, the complaints of hand hygiene is somewhere between 90 to 90%. So why are we lacking here? This itself says that how much more we have to travel in this particular aspect. And it is going to come because now every one of us are having a keen focus towards it, and I'm sure that in coming days we see larger interest and larger success in this area. With this, let's conclude saying very important topic, and I'm sure that nursing staff is already dealing with it, especially in the hospital setup. But when it moves to student, I'm not so sure that how much in detail we are dealing at academic institutions. But I'm sure that with this kind of wonderful session, it is going to be really useful for our professional generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harita. Actually, when a nurse joins a institution for the first time as a staff nurse, she is sort of bewildered when she comes across the patient care real life situations where it is not like what she has practiced so far, and very less institutions in our country has bedside practicing opportunity, supervised practice though, and many of the nursing students have just namesake exposure to the hospital, and they have hardly faced real life situations, and all of us are dealing with such staff when they are coming to the hospital, and we have to really re-educate all of them, or spend considerable time in educating these nurses to be making them worthy enough to be presented to a patient, and that is a grim reality. In fact, all of us live with it. My first question to Dr. Unmona is that, ma'am, you have been a principal for long many years and in teaching most of your professional life. And I just would like to ask you, what have been your challenges in educating a student nurse about patient safety? Madam Unmona? Hello, ma'am.
Unmute. Is you are unmuted?
Okay. Okay, now I got it.
Yeah. Yes. I hope you have heard the question.
You asked me about the challenges.
No. What I had been asking you is that with your long exposure in education and as a principal, what had been your challenges in education or educating the student nurses about patient safety? What prevents you from educating them?
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, when you're talking about the patient safety, as I said, like first time, like it was like, what is the safety? Like that is as a student, as I said in, but now I say about when you're going to talk about patient safety, my first challenge come about the nurses' safety. Even today, it is clicking much more that nurses' safety is the first and foremost important. We have to educate them. Now, what I see, when the young nurses, when they got into their new professional suits, And particularly when they are exposed to the private hospitals where the clean enough, the good hospital, they enjoy being here and there. Okay, then they hardly remember they have to wash their hands. But if those group of students, when they go to I don't mean that all government hospitals are not maintained, not as much as the private, of course, with the due apologies. So they are in the government, they remember I have to wash hand. It is like, not maintained well. But in the private, they forget that thing. But visible dirts means only the infection. Invisible dirts means there is no dirts means no infection. So it is a challenge for them to ensure that they learn the proper hand washing technique. And particularly after getting a new dress, sometimes they roam in the market, few of them. Oh my God, why are you roaming in the market? Then when they come into the hostel, they so admire their dress, they don't know that they have to keep it separately or wash it every day. So this is the big challenge, I feel, the first and foremost. Okay, and then now the corona taught us like how to deal with this. This is the one challenge. The second thing that is about them. The second thing is that for the patient safety, when I come to the patient, there are many factors come actually when I'm going to ensure. And yes, Harita is there. She will be able to give the points on that also. Inadequate staffing, interruptions, and possible burnout of the staff. Due to this factor, always hinder the student to ensure the patient safety too. And due to the crisis, I feel particularly when you send them to the government hospital, one nurse take care of 30, 40 patients like that. So in that case, when I'm sending clinical instructor, one instructor with a 10 students, when they go to the clinics, they have been distributed in the 5 different places where the one clinical instructor will be there. So it is very difficult to ensure the patient safety to teach them. This is another challenge. Then, there is a shortage of equipment. That due to shortage of equipment, sometimes they pull from here and there. Okay, they are, as I said, they're very new. They're still to develop cultivate the culture of the patient safety for the young nurses. So, it has been not maintained well due to the equipment challenge, and particularly there is not proper orientation. The hospital policy orientation is there, and particularly what it happens when they are going for only a week. Okay, so where is the time? They have got the instruction time, like this many hours they have to be in this particular ward, they have to do this many presentation, they have to do the collect history or write the nursing assignment, etc., etc. So there is no proper the policy orientation. There is no time actually. When they are not knowing this policy, then of course there will be the havoc and patient safety will be very difficult. So I am feeling that, particularly in this period, in the corona pandemic period also, there is so much of shortage, so many goes for the, after who are exposed in the COVID area, then they are not there for a week. Obviously there will be shortage of nurses. So these are the challenges, particularly equipment, due to shortage of staff, and particularly staff when they are in the burnout, they cannot ensure the how students are going to perform, they cannot teach and guide. So these are the challenges I'm facing.
Okay, ma'am. I mean, quite understandable because the students have a fully packed curriculum. In fact, the overloaded, I feel many a times with a lot of assignments, and they have to write a lot. And we have all gone through it. And for for ages, it hasn't changed much. I feel that a lot of and I do not know whether all those assignments per se have contributed anything to learning about nursing. And trying to look at the entire way the education is delivered probably in our country, and all other countries have, most of them have changed the way they look at, we just had a meeting before this and with some US counterparts. So they were saying that they can go to a nursing school at the age of 62 anytime. And I'm sure a curriculum is not delivered the way we teach our young students. That is only fitting the young minds, maybe 18 to 22. And little elder ones do have problems in coping up with that. Yes, well, we do have lot of challenges in educating or initiating nursing education, with respect to patient safety to our students. And we must find a solution, in fact. Yeah. So
Yes.
just the next question of mine is to Harita, where she manages a 300 plus bedded quaternary care hospital in Hyderabad, Continental Hospital. I've been to that hospital so many times, in fact. And what I want to ask Harita is, what has been your challenges while dealing with the nurses, especially the new graduates when they come to the hospital with respect to their knowledge and skills related to patient safety? Harita.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Such an important question, I would say. And I'm so sure that majority of us, most of us probably facing this challenge. The problem is, let it be with the nurses or the new nurses, those who are coming to the hospital as a fresh entry. So we are fairly understood that their theoretical knowledge are great, but what is happening with the practical skills? So here we find a huge gap in the sense, huge gap. So we are not able to post such nurses at the bedside for service delivery unless we are so sure about their skills. So
Yes.
as we all know also that, in the nursing curriculum, especially the patient safety aspects are not dealt so greatly. So let me tell an example. So we have never heard about nursing quality indicators, or we have never much heard
As a
about
student,
know,
absolutely.
the clinical nursing audit, or let it be the assessment tools which we use in the clinical setup, let it be the pressure ulcer tool or pain tool. So these are not dealt in such curriculum. So that is actually becoming a large challenge. So now to fill this gap, so what happens usually, typically in the hospitals? So we conduct a lot of education in terms of induction or in terms of continuous nursing education. So I would like to emphasize little bit during this process what happens exactly in the hospital. Okay, let us take two categories in this regard. One is what is happening with the nursing administration. So nursing administration end up in spending a lot of time and energy to fill this gap, right? And ultimately, once they learn and they are excellent in their skills, or they are able to deliver the proper care to the patient, there comes with attrition. So this cycle repeats in the hospital, and nursing administration probably, and I'm sure that across India, are badly caught over there. At the same time, when we look at newcomers, especially the graduates, those who are coming, so they are under tremendous stress to learn so many things during a short period of time. So this learning curve actually taking kind of a task on them, which of course creating a lot of fear, anxiety, and then of course the burnout among this kind of staff. And then when we talk about, the training, what we are imparting in the hospital setup, this inclusive of soft skills, patient safety aspects. It's also inclusive of lot many procedures which they are expected to perform at bedside. So I would like to probably conclude this particular question saying that I think the beginning from as a student onwards, we supposed to focus largely about essence of nursing. So for me, essence of nursing is all about the knowledge which we carry and the caring attitude which we exhibit. So when I say knowledge, everything which comes, whatever I have so far spoken. Now I would like to give little bit more emphasis on the caring attitude. So exactly caring attitude, what we talk about the patient safety skills, or we talk about the procedure skills, or we talk about the empathy, or we talk about the soft skills which they are going to bring at the bedside. So essence of nursing should be something which is going to complete the nursing, I would say. I think giving a focus on this particular aspect is going to help us to overcome this kind of challenges. Thank you.
Absolutely agree, Harita. A combination of right attitude combined with knowledge and skill only will make a caring nurse. Right? If she, how much ever caring she is, otherwise in her, or however beautiful smile she has, if she doesn't know to start an IV, you had it. You cannot employ her at the bedside. Yes. So caring attitude, as far as you have explained, I absolutely agree with you. It is a combination of many of these aspects, and it is a tremendous kind of effort from the nurse's side and also those who prepare them, in fact. So we will have to probably at the end of this discussion, we will come to, what can we do? The service side has its own problems. As Madam Unmona explained, they have their own problems in introducing something new, or adding one more hour of training in their curriculum, because it is absolutely packed up thing. So we will have to find some solutions to this, right? So we are, as it is, tired, sick and tired of teaching the nurses who are, making them, the clinical field worthy, to send them, because whoever we send in nurses uniform, we are responsible for whatever they do. And if we have to ensure that they know the job before we send them to the patient. So this is a Herculean task, in fact, and we have to time and again keep on doing that. So so it's time that we think about what can we do, in that, each time when we get tired of doing this, we are not even able to think further as to what to do to prevent this or reduce this. We haven't come across a solution, in fact, except I have in my experience come across only one place where the attrition is a bit low. That is Mumbai. Okay, so Mumbai, I have visited many of the hospitals, and their attrition rate is somewhere, 10%, 12%, not more than that. No hospital I visited, and all corporate big hospitals, and also government hospital, well, there is no attrition, but in these private hospitals. And among the youngsters, a little bit more, but then no seniors goes away. So their attrition is sort of balanced. And I do not know what we can do to the rest of the country in relation to this. So with respect to the education or knowledge and skills about patient safety, we have to really think about what can we do. So my next question to Dr. Unmona is, you have expressed your difficulties in teaching something like patient safety to the nurses, student nurses. So what is your expectations, ma'am, from people like Harita, who are heading the nursing department of big hospitals where actually patient care happens? So can we do the nursing heads, where the patient safety program is there? Can we do something? What is your expectations from us? We have to. It is time for us to get into grooming these student nurses, I feel. So what do you expect from people like Harida, who are CNOs in hospitals, with respect to educating student nurses about patient safety?
Okay, thank you very much, Ajita. The way you are putting up the questions, it's like a debate. But the thing is, you have chosen such a wonderful person, and we'll never have that conflict in our ego or anything like that. We don't have any ego, or we will not have any conflict. But you have chosen a very right person, and she's speaking so well for education part. Also, I really feeling very good. However, I'll just start what she said about the attitude. It is not from Harita, it is from all.
Yeah, I know that too. Yes, what you are
yeah,
yes,
my expectation, I'll start from a clinical nurse leader. It should be very much positive towards the students. Whoever is coming, from wherever is coming, whatever learning took place earlier, irrespective of that, she or he is in my setting, I guide and mold and shape. But I understand there may not be available time for her, but I want the attitude of accepting. For any nurse leader, that will help a lot. That will give the freedom to students to learn. That is my first expectation, Ajita. I hope this is okay to expect from her.
I do understand.
Yeah, the second thing I expect that there should be I know there is limited of time, difficulty of time, however, even for 5 to 10 minutes, or even I have taken a class yesterday in the workshop classroom or recording, sending to the students and seeing what are the patient safety policy protocols. I want that patient safety policy protocols need to be taught to the students. May not be possible by Harita, by presenting herself. She may send and go and see this and come back tomorrow. Then only I'll allow to enter in my word. And if she has some hard copy or anything, it should be accessible to the students. It is my second expectation. And Harita can oppose me at any moment. and next, I expect the time to time feedback to the educators. Okay. And again, I'm saying it may not be possible all the time to closely monitor, but whatever come across, whatever nurse administrator seat that need to be give the feedback to the educator. So next that there must be some sense educator also need to be proactive. Then and once the students are accustomed, they are, you know, definitely can be a big support for you. Yes, Harita. So like that effort we have to invest, actually some time we have to invest. Okay, if we are investing with them, then tomorrow suddenly 5 staffs are not there, at least they can help and assist. And like another thing is that we have to be always alert for incidental teaching. And incidental teaching is very important. Not in your area, whatever I observed in any situation, even in my hospital, something happened, matter goes to the HR and all, call, why, who did this? Who did this? No one asked what happened, why happened. No one asked who did this. So ultimately, what happened? It's a blame game. Ultimately, what happened? Many things are hidden. Yeah, so it is very important. We have to encourage. We have to encourage. Even I say that you have to reward if someone come and report. If anything happens, this is very important, and we have to have immediately. Okay, this thing happened. We have to teach all the student nurse tomorrow. They have to know about this, not hidingly. Okay, that is the opportunity. And we have to monitor, of course, the all errors and what precautions can be taken. And if we can make it a fault finding as a lesson, that will be excellent. And also what she said about the competence, I really agree. Just coming with the learning and going to the clinics, it is a vast difference.
Yeah.
And it is the all students we need to prepare it like opportunistic learning, that when the situation comes, we have to be able to learn the situation. So we need the nurse leader, educator, this should be situational leader, everyone, like how we can teach and guide. So like, you know, we have to place the student depending on the competency, whatever the competency they are having, so that we can minimize the error. Now I'm only expecting this much, if there is a proper policy, if there is a proper orientation, and of course there should be the collaboration. There is always should be the proactive initiation from the educator side, and nurse administrator how busy we know, and then the attitude not only from the clinical leaders, and nurse educator also should have the right attitude to approach, and our responsibility to teach our students. So we have to go behind the Harita. That's all from my side.
Yes, I absolutely understand your plight. Madam, for your information, I had been teaching in nursing for 8 years. So I had been at AFMC and Ami Hospital in Delhi, and, and then I had come to, I have quit army and came to, and thereafter I was doing Haridas, similar kind of a job. So I do understand the difficulties of being a, teacher and educator in a college of nursing, and then, as a person in heading the hospital, big hospitals, we don't entertain students, I must admit that. It is not, no patient of mine would have liked to have a student going to them. Okay, exactly. Because very elite private hospitals, they don't entertain staff nurses who look little timid, who are not very true or don't look confident, and they immediately raise the issue and say that change this nurse for me, because healthcare is very expensive in such hospitals, and they are so much aware about their rights. And if a nurse is not little groomed well, they'll change this nurse. Okay, so. For the young nurses, going to the bedside is a nightmare for many of them. And of course, fortunately, many of them, somehow, learn the skill, through hard way. I tell you, every nurse has become a good nurse, if so, through the tears, I would say that. Every nurse had shed so many tears to gain that skill. And it's a painful learning, I must say that. My next question to Harita, and probably we will stop at this because we have already reached our target time. And this is, what possibilities of collaborations, as Dr. Unmona just mentioned that, yes, we have to reach out to the students, the teachers who are teaching nursing. There is no doubt about it, because that is how it is. And we have to somehow break this wall between, education and practice. And I guess ANI should work should find a formula towards this. So what are your thoughts, Harida, about the possible collaborations to bridge the gap between this, when a nurse is undergoing training and when, how can we reach out to them? What are your thoughts about how can the service side reach out to students? And following this, probably we will take the audience questions if there are any.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I think, first of all, before I answer to the question, let me comment a little bit about the statement which you have just mentioned. And I'm so sure that especially the graduate nurse, those who come to the hospital, so the journey for them, at least for 6 months, are not at all pleasant. Okay, it is out of compulsion, with fear, anxiety. They go through this process of learning and then they become the smart nurses. I completely agree with you on that point, Mark. We do see that on day-to-day life. So now coming to the question, I feel, and I could see in the chat box also, someone commented that the revised nursing curriculum, which is incorporated with the patient safety, which is incorporated with the clinical audit. I think this is a good startup. With this particular act, I think in coming days, things are going to be much, much better and much, much focused. Now, second thing is that we understood that what is happening at the academic institution and how much the healthcare institutions are probably doing on this. So there is still a scope for improvement on the both the sides. So my suggestion to this problem is, I think we can tailor our training sessions according to the occurrences, what happens in the hospital, and also the unique specific teaching. So it shouldn't be like, okay, today let me run 10 topic and which is essential, which I feel so. Rather, it can be, what is the demand or what is the requirement of that area, and let me train according to that. This is going to bring an impact. And second is that I also very strongly feel, let us also engage our staff when we, plan such training sessions. So their input is also equally important, because we may not be able to assess them just by a look or by a talk. So what they really wish to learn and what are the gaps at their end is something which we can work out. And next important point, as probably I am a simulation trainer, so I very, very strongly feel and recommend that there should be the simulation based training in nursing curriculum. So wherein we could create a real scenario before even they come to the hospital. They know how the medical emergency happened, how the polytrauma happened, or how am I going to manage the VT or VF. So this simulation based training is going to bring a lot of value in nursing education. So we have to strongly work on this aspect. And finally, of course, focusing all the end on patient safety. I would also recommend to have a concept of mentor. This was very beautifully introduced by Annie, and Thangam Commerce Ma'am was talking about it very recently. The student nurses must have a mentor from the healthcare institution wherein they go for clinical practice. So this is largely going to solve the issue between the academic institution and the healthcare institution, wherein we get, excellent nurses across India. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Harida. I don't really see in the chat box any questions from the audience. So if you have any questions.
I have one. I just want, Harita.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to, because I expected from Harita, what is our responsibility? I said about the challenges. What is the responsibility for us? I just would like to say that first and foremost, of course, Indian Nursing Council introduced the patient safety. And what I believe that we have to, at the institute level, all principals or educators should develop these patient safety protocols by their own. Within the syllabus, we have many co-curricular activities, hours dissented. How do we develop? Of course, in the co-curricular activity, what Harita said about empathy, I'm continuously trying that to develop the personality, to develop the empathy. But also patient safety, we have to introduce. And also, as I say, ask her to put in the level of competency. I have to have the check level. First year completed, what are the competency? Second year, what are the competency? With this competency, I should send to her. My first year students will be able to do this. Second year students will be able to do this. Of course, there will be the variations of up and down. Distance does not matter. But third thing I would like to say about the clinical instructor, that we have to educate the clinical instructor to instill the students the importance of the patient safety. And the clinical instructor should be always in the quality circle round. Then only they can understand. That is another thing. And what's said about the simulation lab? Of course, we have to try very hard, particularly in a private hospital. No one wants to get the exposure. No one wants to be the guinea pig. We have to try as much as possible. These are the procedure possible physically to teach them, like in the lab, that we have to do it. And we have to also teach that, like, how to learn from the mistakes. And if possible, we have to provide a checklist, particularly for the communication and all. Sometimes when we are giving handover, many things we missed out. The students to student, what has been said. So, like, these are the things we have to really work very hard, and we have to have some session, the learning from the error and reporting. They should have the touch, and they should come out to report about the problems. We have to encourage. As I said, we have to even the reward. So we have to ensure the culture of safety. We have to instill in the students' mind from the first year itself. Even the patient information itself, we have to ensure how to keep the records and reports in safety. That also matters. Sometimes reports misplaced means operation may be, leading to the problem. So that's all I wanted to say. We also have a lot of responsibility as educators.
Ajita, with your permission, can I say something? Ajita just dropped off, I think. Okay.
And you can continue.
Okay, just to add to it, it's a very, very energetic discussion. And I think this, the flavor of it has not changed in the last so many years I have come back to India. Kind of remains the same, but little, the severity is up, down like that. But it's very nice that an academician and a clinician is sitting and they're kind of understanding. So again, we need to find a solution. Okay. So Annie is here to think what can be done. So I have a feeling that with all the members that we have, and somebody is writing here, Apollo Hospital Delhi has privileges for students. So I'm hoping we'll go back to a drawing board, and you would try to see, because there are 3 areas that is included in the curriculum: patient IPSG, the quality indicators, and infection control. And that's probably the foundation for a nurse to be safe. So maybe Annie can come up with a smaller task group who can create content for training, which you can use ready-made for students, which are very clinical oriented. I mean, the stories are all from hospital. Taking a cue from what Dr. Unmana said, learning from defect is a very, very powerful thing. Now that defects, if they come from Indian hospitals, is even better, because if you go to net, you will see a lot of stories which are errors. But every time we think, oh, it didn't happen here, no, it happened in America. So what is there for me? But when you talk about a story in India, so I think, Harita, I just came to know that you are a medical simulator. So I am a certified simulator, high fidelity simulator. So I kind of understand. So I think with all the ideas that we have on simulation, and we also know that simulation can be done without any mannequin also, it is possible. Okay. So there are some very creative ideas that can be there. So we will try to put together a like-minded people from hospital and maybe academics. We have EC members from academics. So Annie will try to come up with some kind of a package that can be used for colleges and even for hospitals if they want. There are many hospitals who may not have all these things in place, smaller nursing homes, etc. So I am committing that as president of Annie, that we will work around this. I don't know what shape it will be. And I think now Unmana and Harita has started the story. So automatically you become the task group members. Is that okay? Is that okay? Ajita, you are the moderator. Are you giving okay for that? And we will take it from there. We'll not make it too big a group. We'll make sure it's a smaller one, and we can make sure we get the people who can invest time in that, because everything needs time. And I think bringing up young students needs time. I think that is what is important, because attitude cannot be created in 30 days or even 6 months. There's so much to be done. It's a way of life. So I think a lot depends on the clinical instructors, tutors, the in charges, the leaders to actually role model every day to say that this is the attitude of a nurse that you are supposed to have. We can't teach attitude. They need to see the attitude. So it's not very easy. I do understand that, but I still believe it's not impossible, right? I'm very optimistic, and that's why we are here as Annie that we are going to do something to empower our young nurses, because it's not their fault. It's like when we are bringing them up, if they are not up to the mark, we are responsible for that. And we take that responsibility and we'll do something to correct that. That's the takeaway from today's Empower Hour. Thank you, Ajita. And thanks, Harita and Unmuna. And now you got into the next level of responsibility. Ajita, it's all yours now. Thank you. There is no question. Okay. So Apollo, somebody is writing that they have a privileges of students. So I don't know if Marilyn is a member. So we can always invite Marilyn to join the task force. Marilyn, are you a member of Annie? You can answer there. If you're already, then of course we'll be happy to invite you. Okay, we'll catch up with her on the sideline. I think I know her. We can always catch up. Yeah. So all the inputs have been coming from Marilyn. So we'll be happy to invite her to join our task group. Yeah. Okay. But as an Annie member. All the work done by Annie has to be by Annie members. Yes, Harit, Ajita? Go ahead. You're muted. You're muted.
No, I couldn't unmute.
Okay.
I absolutely agree that we can go on debating this. That yes, educational preparation of student nurses are not adequate, and
Ajita, unmute yourself, please. Ajita, unmute.
thus we come together to find solutions. And there is no problem, I believe, without a solution. So the solution for this is probably because in our country, the education sector, those who are teaching the students are not practicing enough at the bedside, I believe, to educate the students, unfortunately, except barring 2 or 3 institutions where, the teachers in the college also takes responsibility in the hospital, but they have their own cries, and difficulties differently. So the only solution what I feel is that people like Harita and me should reach out to the teaching group. Okay, so maybe Annie can do a lot of things in this regard, where we can, like as Dr. Unmona suggested, prepare materials and give it to them in short, so that it doesn't take much of time of theirs. Already they have shortage of time. So reach out to them, and we can make the teachers, their respective class teacher or somebody, make responsible for delivering this content to them, and everyone understand, hearing somebody, because they have some touch with the clinical area. So the teachers also do understand. But for them to search and prepare a curriculum for this and then teach and all is not going to happen. So what we all can do is, prepare some ready-made stuff. Maybe we can influence the principals in colleges of nursing in the country to make it mandatory for their students for the sake of patients, and reaching out to them. And of course, what Madam Unmona said, I do understand. The moment students come to the hospital, we make them stand in one line in one corner. Okay, and they are not allowed to even go to the patient's bedside. Unfortunately, patients don't entertain that. So we all of us know that if you have to learn the skill and task, go to a government hospital. Yes, because in government hospital, we all feel that there is no one to question or ask. So this is a reality. In private hospitals, there is a limitation of this. But at least we being in private hospitals, we can reach out to these colleges of nursing with these, I mean, we don't have to go and take class, but we can prepare something and, record it and, send it across. Or we at Annie can do a lot of things, I feel, that we can upload it. And, today's world, it is nothing difficult to reach out to anyone, in fact. So, at their leisure, they can do, and they can check their knowledge levels on this account. To some extent, it will help. I'm not saying that they will be, ready-made available to send it to the next day to the clinical area, we have to continue with our induction and things like that, and that is not going to lessen our burden. But yes, the bewilderment in their faces when we see it in induction classes for the freshers will go away if they feel little more comfortable with all of us. So we at Annie definitely will take up this task of orienting the student nurses, or that is one of our target population for talking about patient safety and reaching out to them. So we will shortly come to everyone, not only the members of ANEI, but also for the teachers, nursing teachers in this country, and also the nurses in this country with solutions. Okay, what we all have to look for is solutions, and we will come out with some solutions, targeted solutions, let us say, of specific topics in patient safety. And this is what we are aiming at through this Empower Hour in this year. But however, besides these discussions, because these discussions have its own limitations, being less at time and things like that, and everyone has come from their working hours, and we must stop, and we don't intend to go on lecturing. So we will come for sure with targeted solutions, which will be ready-made solutions to reach out to the students for the teachers, so that they don't have to prepare separate lessons, something of that sort, where and we can improve upon from there. So this is what my suggestion, and I take it upon myself as our responsibility to do this, so that we can, saving one life is worth our life. And by focusing on patient safety, we are going to save a lot of lives out there. So that is my closing remarks for the day. And thank you, all of you who had attended this. And still there are 119 people out there. And thank you so much. And those who have not been able to make it, this will be available in our Facebook page, and you can open and show it to all of your staff, rather give the link to them and let them watch in their leisure time. And that is, technology has helped us for all that, and no one is going to miss it in any case. So thank you all so much. And this has been a very fruitful discussion, Dr. Unmana and Harita. Thank you for accepting this, and so very great to have you on this show. And though of course there was limitation of time, that a part of your thoughts only you could share, I am sure. So we will find more opportunities for similar kind of discussions. And thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Tankom. And thank you everyone who attended, and hope to have more discussions on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajita. Thank you so much for a fantastic 1 hour, and thanks Harita and Unmana. Thank you so much, and we would wish to see you back in March, last Saturday, once again for another Empower Hour. And this recording is not only available on the Facebook, it will also be available on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and look at any episode. So go ahead, share, and please reach out to us in case you have any questions or any suggestions. We are all very open. So please reach out to us. And thank you so much, and God bless you, and take care.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Dr. Unmana. Thank you. Thanks, Sarita. Bye.
Bye.